Imagine this scenario: a packed baseball stadium, thousands holding their breath. The pitcher releases the ball, the batter swings, and it lands safely in the glove. The roar of applause echoes everywhere. This isn't just an ordinary pitch. History is being made. But would you believe? This is the same man who was born with only one hand. This is the story of James Anthony Abbott, known to the world as Jim Abbott. Born on August 19, 1967, in Flint, Michigan, he came into the world without his right hand, a condition doctors call congenital absence. For many, this would be seen as a limitation, a boundary, but for Jim, it became his identity and his inspiration. His parents, Kathy and Mike Abbott, instilled a simple belief from the very beginning. You can do anything anyone else can do. You just need to find your own way. And that belief became the foundation of Jim's journey. A journey that would prove to millions that limits are not in the body, they are in the mind. This is not just a baseball story. It is the story of a child who refused to surrender, of a young man who brought glory to his nation at the Olympics, of a pitcher who faced the world's best in Major League Baseball, and of a night when he achieved the impossible, throwing a no-hitter with just one hand. This is One-Hand Pitcher, the incredible story of Jim Abbott. Flint, Michigan, a small house, an ordinary family, but extraordinary parents. Mike and Kathy Abbott never treated their son as weak. From the very beginning, they gave him one mantra: Jim, you can do everything others can do. You just need to find a different way. As a child, questions and doubts were everywhere. Kids would ask, "Where's your hand?" Whispers around him said, "How can he ever play sports?" Sometimes cruel remarks followed. "Look, he's incomplete." But Jim would smile, because deep down he knew his game, not his condition, would define him. His father, a baseball enthusiast, became his first coach. In their garage, they practiced tirelessly. But the biggest challenge was, how can Jim pitch and catch with one hand? Together, they created an innovative technique. Jim threw with his left hand, immediately slid the glove onto the end of his right arm, freed the left hand to field and catch, and in a blink, the glove was back on the left hand to pitch again. The process was so fast, so fluid, that it felt like Jim had two hands. At school, this became his biggest strength. He silenced mockery with performance. By high school, Jim Abbott wasn't seen as a boy with one hand. He was seen as a star pitcher with blazing speed, pinpoint control, and a unique style that baffled hitters. His coaches never treated him special. They expected results, and Jim delivered them every single time. His determination and confidence made one thing clear: Jim Abbott wasn't a challenge. He was the answer to one. After dominating high school, Jim's next stop was college baseball. He chose the University of Michigan, where competition was fierce. Many still doubted him. Could a one-handed pitcher survive at this level? But Jim answered with performance, fastballs, control, and a style that confused even the best hitters. He quickly became the team's star pitcher. In 1987, Jim represented the U.S. at the Pan American Games, helping the team win gold. It put him on the global stage. And then came the real breakthrough: 1988 Seoul Olympics. For the first time, baseball was introduced as an Olympic sport. And who was America's trusted pitcher? Jim Abbott. He pitched brilliantly in key games. Every strike he threw carried a message. Disability doesn't define destiny. When Team USA won the gold medal, Jim Abbott stood on the podium, medal around his neck. No longer just a player, but a symbol of hope for millions worldwide. Media headlines read, "One-handed pitcher shocks the world." The Olympic triumph made Jim a national hero, and his next destination was obvious: Major League Baseball. 1988, fresh off Olympic glory, the spotlight turned to Jim Abbott. In the 1988 MLB draft, the California Angels picked him in the first round, 8th overall. It was historic, a one-handed pitcher drafted that high. And then, something rarer happened. Without playing a single game in the minor leagues, Jim Abbott went straight to the major leagues. 1989, his MLB debut. In his very first season, Jim recorded 12 wins and pitched over 180 innings. His fastball and unique style challenged even legendary hitters. Fans adored him. His jersey sold out. They didn't just see a pitcher. They saw a living symbol of courage. But along with support came skepticism. Analysts said, "He's just a novelty act." Others argued, His glove switch will never hold up at MLB speed. On the field, rival teams and fans taunted him. "What can you do with one hand?" Jim never answered with words. He answered with strikes. His biggest battle wasn't criticism, it was physical strain. All the workload fell on one arm and shoulder. But Abbott trained relentlessly, proving his mental strength was his greatest weapon. With the Angels, and later with the Yankees, White Sox, and Brewers, Jim Abbott became not just a pitcher, but an inspiration to every clubhouse he entered. Baseball, he proved, wasn't just about physical ability. It was about heart, willpower, and belief. And that belief carried him to one of baseball's most unforgettable nights. September 4th, 1993. September 4th, 1993, Yankee Stadium. The stands were packed. The opponent, Cleveland Indians, with one of the strongest lineups in baseball. From the very first pitch, something special was happening. Jim Abbott was unhittable. One inning passed, then another. By the sixth, the stadium buzzed with tension. Commentators couldn't hide their excitement. Fans stood, chanting, "Let's go Abbott! Let's go Abbott!" Then came the ninth inning, just 3 outs away from history. First batter, out. Second batter, out. One last man stood between Abbott and immortality. Jim wound up, released the pitch. The batter swung and missed. Out. Game over. No hitter.
No hitter for Jim Abbott. Jim Abbott throws a no-hitter and shuts out the Cleveland Indians 4-0.
The stadium erupted. Teammates rushed to embrace him. Jim Abbott had done the unthinkable. Throwing a no-hitter is one of baseball's rarest feats, and a man with only one hand had achieved it. In that moment, Jim Abbott was more than a pitcher. He was a legend. After the game, he humbly said, "This wasn't just for me. It was for everyone who has ever been told they can't do something." That night at Yankee Stadium, it wasn't just a baseball game that was won. It was a mindset that was defeated. The mindset that said limitations define you. Jim Abbott had proven, one hand is enough to make history. In 1999, at just 31 years old, Jim Abbott retired from baseball. 10 seasons, 87 career wins, and one unforgettable no-hitter. His career wasn't just numbers. It was a testament of courage. After retirement, Abbott became a motivational speaker. At schools, colleges, and conferences, he shared one simple truth. We all face challenges. The difference is whether we see them as weaknesses or turn them into strengths. His story goes far beyond baseball. He is a symbol for anyone who thinks their limitations will stop their dreams. Jim Abbott proved that limits are not in the body, they are in the mind. And when you break those mental limits, the impossible becomes possible.